Opening statement, my friend and colleague, Ranking Member Correa.
Chairman Higgins, first of all, let me thank you very much for holding this most important hearing. What I want to do is get down to the facts, make sure we know what's going on at the border. As policymakers on both sides of the aisle, we have to recognize the challenges that we have as a nation. And it's important to start by looking back over the last few years and what we've seen, to look forward as to what we can expect. Mr. Chairman, we've dealt with COVID-19. And America spent trillions in fighting COVID-19, and we did pretty well. In fact, our economy is doing better than any other economy in the world today. Record unemployment, worker shortages. And this is happening while, sadly, the rest of the world economies are really crumbling. Even the great China economy is having trouble getting back on its feet. I'd like to submit without objection, this article from the Wall Street Journal talks about China's fading recovery reveals deeper economic struggles.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What we now have is a worldwide economic crisis that has led to worldwide economic crisis. And there's never been more misplaced individuals, probably in the last 100, 200 years in this world. World War II, 60 million individuals on the move. Today, we've confirmed it, a greater number of individuals moving throughout the world displaced. This chart, if I can, from the UN Refugee Agency, shows the number of displaced persons, those in need of international protection, and asylum seekers just in the Americas. And as you can see from this chart, countries around the region, in this region, are suffering the challenge of refugees. Mexico is dealing with the refugee crisis within its borders, struggling. Guatemala is struggling. Europe, of course, is also feeling the stress. Further south in Colombia, not only is it hosting 2.5 million Venezuelan refugees, but others as well. And of course, these refugees are facing terrible conditions as they move north, looking for safety and opportunity. This next picture I'm going to show you is of a little girl struggling to continue north across the Darien Gap. She's separated from her mother and is being helped by another refugee trying to survive in that very dangerous region as they move north. And if those refugees are willing to take that journey north, you know there's desperation. So when we look at the post-COVID-19 world, we have to look at the challenges as a nation. And let me start by saying Title 42 was a pandemic policy that was supposed to end when COVID ended as well. The party in charge of the House of Representatives voted to end the COVID-19 pandemic, and in doing so, voted to end or lift Title 42. And I have to say I agree with them, because Title 42 is an issue dealing with pandemics, health issues, and not an immigration instrument tool. Looking forward to hearing from our witnesses today about the recent encounters at the border. And I ask again that you talk about the numbers. And as you do, you keep in mind the current challenges and the upcoming challenges, because this refugee challenge is not going away. I've been to Central America, and those nations, their infrastructures are devastated, and it's going to take a lot to get them back on their feet. Also, nearby, I visited all the CBP facilities that I could over the last few months on our southern border, in the months leading up to the lifting of Title 42. I've also visited San Diego before and after 42. On every trip I would take, I would ask our officers at the border, are we prepared for May 11th? Are we ready? And they would say, yes, we are, to the best of our ability and based on assumptions that we made on the numbers of individuals we are assuming will be here. And you know what? They did a really good job. And it wasn't just CBP, it was DHS, State Department, the administration. They did a good job. In those first few days after Title 42 ended, the encounters dropped at the border by more than half. In fact, if you look at this next chart, those are the numbers reported by Border Patrol Chief Raul Ortiz, showing more than a 50% drop in encounters since the ending of 42. These numbers continue to remain lower than what they were seeing earlier this spring, despite the fact that there's usually a normal increase at this time of the year. That is a seasonal increase. Let me just repeat some of the things the administration did. They opened up regional processing centers in which CBP agents told me that they will very helpful in managing the capacity of processing individuals at the border. The administration created legal pathways for Venezuelans, Cubans, Haitians, and Nicaraguans to enter the United States legally. The administration sent active duty military personnel to help with the logistics and expected surges at the border. And by the way, California sent the National Guard, and Texas sent the National Guard as well. While I disagree with some of the consequences put in place at the border, some of the penalties in place at the border following the end of Title 42, they appear to be part of what has happened at the border today. And I would say that as a body, as a legislative body, we've got a lot of work to do. The refugee crisis is not going away. It's got to be addressed on a continent basis. South of the border, these are our neighbors. They're not going to move. They're going to be hanging out for a while. And we have to address the challenges south of the border. And I'd welcome the chairman and others to visit with me, countries south of the border, to address the root causes of migration, to make sure that we prepare for the long term. We can fight each other, point at each other, but we're talking about solutions in our continent, in our backyard. Though we roll up our sleeves and figure it out, we're going to continue to bicker and fight amongst each other, and nothing's going to get done long term. So today, from our witnesses, I look forward to hearing your testimony, what you think has led to this, Mr. Chairman, I'm not going to say a decline, but management of the border. Was there a decline? What were the solutions you put in place? And what we can expect going forward. Again, I don't believe this chapter is over in this refugee crisis. COVID-19 is still with us. It's devastated the continent, the world, and we're the only game in town. Like it or not, we are the greatest, strongest economy in the world. And with that, Mr. Chair, I want to thank you for my time, and I turn over to you.